Hundreds of tubes are pulled in from the sea. Congers bursting out of each of the tubes. This is conger tube fishing conducted in Tokyo Bay. Shiba Fishing Port in Kanazawa Ward, Yokohama City. It is a historic fishing port where fishing communities were established in the Kamakura era. Currently, 7 boats conduct conger tube fishing. Conger tube fishing takes advantage of the tendency of congers to hide in the shadow and to huddle together, which is called thigmotaxis. This fishing is highly valued in markets because it has less chance to scratch or stress congers as it does not use nets or fish hooks. Edo mae congers caught in Tokyo Bay are eaten as sushi, rice bowls, tempura fry, and so on. Mr. Yoshiyuki Saida is a veteran fisherman who has been conducting conger tube fishing for more than 30 years. Fishermen in Shiba Fishing Port make rigs for conger tube fishing themselves. Tubes are made of PVC, are 10 centimeters in diameter, and are 80 centimeters long. On both ends of the tubes, caps with slit end, called kaeshi, are attached. Kaeshi prevents congers that are drawn to the bait and enter the tubes from escaping. Tubes have many holes of different sizes.
These are drainage holes that help tubes sink when thrown to the sea. And they allow water to drain during pulling in, and thus make it easy to pull tubes out of the sea. That's why they have holes. We decided to use these holes to conserve small congers and drilled bigger holes.
Conger myriaster, mainly eaten in Japan, spawns in waters that are even further south from Okino-Torishima, the southernmost island of Japan. Larvae of congers, born between June and September, reach Tokyo Bay on the Kuroshio Current and grow from juvenile to adult fishes there. In a year from their birth, they grow to about 15 to 30 centimeters long and in 2 years, 30 to 45 centimeters. The diameter of drainage holes of most tubes used in Tokyo Bay used to be 8 millimeters. In 1998, for conserving resources in Kanagawa Prefecture, it was decided to drill 15 or more holes of 13 millimeters in diameter through which 1-year-old congers of less than 35 centimeters can escape.
They escape tail first by twisting their body like this. Smaller ones can escape head first smoothly.
Around 12 o'clock, fishermen set bait into the tubes by the time they go trapping. Mr. Saida uses 600 tubes. They set anchovies, which are congers' favorite, in every tube. After setting baits into all 600 tubes, they depart the port. Boats meet at the home position in front of the port.
Seems it's time. Shall we go? Yes, please.
And at 2 p.m. sharp, all boats at once take off toward Chiba, in the direction of the opposite shore. A key to successful fishing is throwing tubes into where congers dwell, because conger tube fishing attracts congers due to the smell of bait. Fishermen rush their boats at full speed to target points where they have caught many congers in the past. Arrived at a fishing ground at 3 p.m. This location has a water depth of about 27 meters. On arrival at a fishing ground, a buoy is thrown in as a marker. Then tubes are thrown one by one into the sea while the boat is kept running. Mr. Saida's trap has 600 tubes, each attached to the main rope every 30 meters by a 4-meter branch rope. The length of the main rope spans 18 kilometers.
The key is to throw in a tube a step before the main rope runs 30 meters, as a tube is usually attached every 30 meters. The tubes are thrown in a bit earlier when running with the tide, and are thrown in a way to make the main rope a bit taut when running against the tide because the tool will be pushed back, you know.
A marker flag is thrown in at regular intervals. Mr. Saida aims to mark roughly every 100 tubes or 3 kilometers. They are recorded on a GPS plotter which is utilized when pulling in the tubes. Now, all the 600 tubes have been set on the sea bottom. Boats return to the fishing port after throwing in all the tubes. They wait for congers to enter the tubes until the next morning. A few hours after this tube was thrown in, a conger was lured by the scent of the bait. At 4 a.m. on the next morning, the boats depart from the port to pull in the tubes. One hour after the departure, yesterday's track is checked by GPS to find the marker buoys. A line hauler is used to pull in the tubes. On average, one tube traps 1 or 2 two-year-old congers of 35 centimeters or longer. It takes about 5 hours to pull in all the tubes and then return to the port. Congers just caught are not marketed immediately because the food remaining in their stomach makes them smell bad. They are kept alive in the sea until the next morning to let them digest their stomach contents. It is the day to market them. Today, Mr. Saida put roughly 800 congers on the market. Congers are shipped alive, as live fish, mainly to the markets in Tsukiji and Yokohama. Conger tube fishing conducted in Tokyo Bay. Fishermen in Chiba Fishing Port have studied the relationship between the sizes of drainage holes and the fishes caught for a long time with specialists. Then they concluded the hole size should be 13 millimeters to release small congers that entered tubes. Eventually, this hole size has become common among Tokyo Bay conger tube trap fishermen in Chiba and Tokyo also.
We have been doing this way of resource conservation management for about 20 years. When I started fishing, we were not very concerned about resources and the sea was vibrant at that time. But considering the current situation, we are glad for what we have started. With conger tube fishing, we catch only those in tubes, we don't harm grounds, we don't overfish, so it's meaningful in many ways. I think it is a good way of fishing for all of us to keep doing this in the future. It's meaningless if only fishermen of our port do this way. The thing is, now resource management has been realized across the whole of Kanagawa, and of Chiba, as well as in part of Tokyo, in the three prefectures together. This is what fishermen desire. It is great that we now share the same values.
A historical and rich fishing ground, Tokyo Bay. Here, fishermen in Kanagawa, Chiba and Tokyo are united to run conger tube fishing with consideration for conserving fishing resources.